What's going on, Firebenders? FirePhoenixKing here today, and we are back. I know we've taken somewhat of a hiatus. That's actually partially most of my fault. But right today, we have a podcast, and we have our usual cast, Mr. Obi and Legend of Groose.
Glad to be here.
Hi.
And as I said, we've definitely a lot of it has a lot to do with me, with work, but also with live streaming. So feel free, shameless plug in. Feel free to check out my Twitch channel.
Twitch.tv/FirePhoenixKing live.
Exactly.
Let's go. This man has been streaming every Xenoblade game, every single one except for X. And yeah. So go follow this man on Twitch, please.
For sure. And Groose, I mean, you could throw in your channel too. I know you streaming.
Oh, I stream video games sometimes at twitch.tv/TheLegendOfGroose. If maybe you can just refresh it every couple of days, and maybe I'll be live at some point.
There you go. But yes, today's topic, I wanted to make this podcast in part. Most of my main reason for streaming the Xenoblade series was because I wanted to catch up before Xenoblade 3, and I thought I did the impossible, and I actually did it. I just finished playing the last game in terms of the current games out there, but I want to make it less about me. I want to make this a topic about the series. So I do want to just jump right into it, and fellas, and I want to open the discussion. So again, feel free to jump in here at any point. But I personally do want to talk about the Xenoblade series, starting with Xenoblade 1. As someone that did play it a little bit on the 3DS, on the new 3DS when it launched, I thought it was okay, and then the kind of the battle style is kind of what drove me to stop playing it. And then having to pick it up years later, I'm not sure if it's age or something, but I liked it. I liked it a lot. And I think that Xenoblade 1's voice acting, I kept saying this in stream, but the voice acting in Xenoblade 1 was great. I liked it. I know it could be over the top at times, but Shulk's screams whenever he's either screaming for Fiora or something's happening. I feel it. I actually.
Dude, Adam Howden is fantastic. He just every single one of his screams in the game is just it's sheer bloody murder. It's fantastic. Yeah, it's so good.
It really is. And so and the rest of the cast too, for me, I definitely like the relationship of Shulk and his best friend Ryan.
Can't have a rainbow without Ryan, baby.
I really, really love that. And actually, yes, I got to see that scene. That's Dunman over there. I thought that was awesome. So I finally was like, hey, there's that.
It's the meme that Nintendo Twitter just just held on to for 2 weeks straight.
For a good while. With different clothes too. But I know this is a game, and this is actually a series both of you have been telling me to play, and I would constantly just not play it just because if it wasn't Mario, I wasn't gonna play it. But it all started with the game being on sale and Obi making me buy
it in person.
Yeah, that's really how it happened. And I think it's one of the best series storytelling. It's been an emotional ride at times too, and I think it's been a while for me to even get emotional for some of these games, and for Xenoblade to do that, I think that's what made it special for me. It's like, dang, I can actually connect with this. It's not just your simple, here's your hero, here's the bad guy, do this. Although there are a lot of plot twists within the plot twist too. So it's I don't know if you guys had this feeling first time playing, but I constantly, in Xenoblade 1, I would constantly feel okay, this is approaching the final boss. Okay, now something came up. All right, now I'm approaching the final boss. Oh, no, something else came up. Okay, I'm approaching it again. Someone else is the final boss. And it's what?
No, definitely. And then, the stuff that I guess since we're early on, should we say that we're doing full spoilers?
Oh, yes, I'm so sorry. That's a really good thing, and I'll definitely include that in the title. This is going to be a spoiler discussion podcast, and we will talk about anything. So if you haven't played any of the ones that are going to be talked about here, which is Xenoblade 1, Torna, the DLC for Xenoblade 2 and Xenoblade 2. And of course, actually, those are the only 3 games. And then if you play
Future Connected as well.
Future Connected, you are correct. And of course, Bruce's favorite one, which is Xenoblade X. We won't really talk about that one though.
I mean, we can if you want.
He's like, I'm ready.
We can give it an honorable mention, or maybe a not so honorable mention.
Dishonorable mention.
Dishonorable mention. My goodness. But
just to make sure, none of y'all have seen any like Xenoblade 3 leaks or anything, right?
Actually, I have not.
No.
I have not.
I haven't seen anything.
Good. Because I haven't either. So we can talk about it.
Yes,
that's good. Oh yeah, we can talk about theories.
Yes, and that's something that Obi wanted to talk about because he was really excited for me to finish the game so we can talk about theories. But going into Xenoblade 1, you guys, it's been a while for you two that you first played it. So can you recall like your feelings about it, or like just what made you hooked into the Xenoblade 1?
I mean,
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I remember my first playthrough super hard. But Obi, if you want to go first, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I mean, mine won't be that long, but it was just 2011, 2012. This game called Monado, Beginning of the World, that I didn't really know much about, and all of a sudden I see like all of these gaming news sites start talking about this Nintendo's not bringing over fan favorite or JRPG, blah blah blah, and everybody was angry, spamming their Twitter, their Facebook, and I'm like, this is interesting. Let me go check it out. So I learned about Operation Rainfall, and I participated in it a little bit. So when they finally came out with the announcement that, hey, we're actually gonna bring this game over, thanks for being a Nintendo fan or whatever, their PR statement.
Yeah.
So I remember, I think it was like 2012 when that happened. That was like my grandma had asked me what I wanted for my birthday, and she pre-ordered that game for me at GameStop. And when I went to Puerto Rico, that was like all I did over that summer, just played through that game. And
wow,
the character, the music, the story, it's like I wasn't really big into, like, I was just getting my toes dipped into like anime and stuff like that. I really wasn't a huge fan of that stuff like I am now. So I guess that was like one of my first titles that got me more into Japanese type of games and anime. So yeah, I started playing it, and I really, and the combat just started clicking. I really thought the whole mechanic with the mechanical
Machina.
the mechons.
The mechons.
I thought the mechons were cool, and it just felt really nice, like just having this fight and just making this robot thing blow up. I just really liked it. And then yeah, the story just popped off from there, and I wanted to get revenge for Fiora, and you know how that goes.
Oh yeah.
And what about you, Mr. Bruce?
Oh boy. So yeah, let's see. It was like two things that really got me into this game. One is that Chugga Conroy was doing his Let's Play of this game in 2014, and that, like, I wasn't watching it, but I was subbed to Chugga, and I've watched a bunch of his other stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, like, okay, he talks like really highly of this game, like this is his favorite game. So that's kind of cool. And then Shulk was revealed for Smash Bros. In like August 2014, and then the day that happened, the actual day that Shulk was announced, I was like, okay, this game obviously is special. That trailer for Smash Bros. Was so good. So I was like, you know what? I went to GameStop. I picked it up. Thankfully, they had a copy, because that was the point where the Wii copies started to get like a little more rare. I guess people started buying them because Shulk was in Smash. So I got lucky. But yeah, and then from there, like I'd have played my fair share of JRPGs before playing Xenoblade. Like, I've played a couple Final Fantasies, your classic Earthbound, Chrono Trigger, that kind of stuff. But Xenoblade Chronicles is my favorite RPG of all time, and it's my second favorite game of all time, just behind Kingdom Hearts 2. So this game is very, very important to me, very close to me. And I can still remember every emotion I felt every single cutscene of that first playthrough, wanting Xenoblade taught me that revenge is actually sweet and you should totally go for it. And so I remember just being awestruck that cutscene where Shulk and Ryan are talking right after Fiora is, what we think is she's killed, and they're like, all right, this is what Fiora would want. Let's go out and kick some ass. And yeah, and then Dunban's like, hey, I'll catch up to you guys. Like, I still remember this
with sword. That was awesome.
Oh, that just what a beginning of a game, right?
Yeah,
where like you find out about the Monado and it's this super cool sword, and you're like, man, that's cool. And then, but like it seriously screws Dunban up using it. Like he loses the ability of his arm because of it. And so then imagining you're the main character that actually gets to control it and use it fully and everything. That's like it's one of the most empowering like main character RPG things I've ever experienced. It's just so cool. So yeah, and then from there it's just beat after beat. I love every single character in the party. Dunban is my favorite because he is just so damn cool. Just you can just dodge everything with him, and then Blossom Dance and all that. Yeah, agility. God, it's so good. So many good mechanics and everything. It's really easy. Like it's not a difficult game to like really get used to. Even though the tutorials can sometimes not be super helpful, but like still, once you know what you're doing, you know what you're doing. The game doesn't push you towards using Melia, which you absolutely should. She's the best character in the game. but yeah, and then. I think all of us can agree that, yeah, like you said earlier, Phoenix, of how you kind of you're thinking like, okay, maybe the game's kind of coming to a wrap up now. Maybe like once you get to the sword and then you start moving over to the Mechonis, you're like, okay, well, yeah, I guess Egel's going to be the final boss. And then, like, after all of that, getting Fiora back and everything, and then finally you get the moment where it's like, you know what, nah, let's be friends, Egel. And then, boom, even bigger plot twist that your homeboy Duncan, as the IGN review would call him, or no, that's what they call Dunban. But Duncan and Rain.
Oh God.
Yeah. But now, yeah, dude. Like then you find out about Zanza and the god stuff and everything, and you're just, oh my God, where the hell did this come from?
Mm-hmm.
Like where is the story going? And it's just. It's so good.
And that's really what I also want to talk about is the story aspect of this is like so yes, I do make fun of it for being long, and so at points it does feel like it's like, okay, when is the final boss? But I've also at the same time have never truly appreciated a game as much as I have the Xenoblade series for being long, if that makes sense, because I don't know if it's really because I'm really enjoying it and having a blast, or the story, or both. Because like every time it would do that, at least it was interesting. Like to me, at least, it was like, oh wow, like now all of a sudden the Mechonis are they're not bad. They were just trying to defend themselves, and Zanza is now the main focus, and I just thought it was a really unique way and take on the RPG genre and storytelling for sure. Because nowadays, I'm constantly saying this, but like Destiny, you get 2, 3, 5 missions, and then you gotta wait like for next week, and you have this sort of incomplete feeling, as in like, why bother playing it? Why not? I'll just wait like to the end of the month to like play the whole thing. When you have like Xenoblade and it's constantly just growing, evolving, and it's just a great thing. But I will say, like, yeah, the combat, yeah, once you get it done, like once you understand it and you execute properly, it is one of the best feelings that I've ever gotten with any games, when you're finally like, oh, that's how that works, that's so awesome, and you start doing these combos and stuff. And Xenoblade 1 really taught me, it's still teaching me patience, because it's not just about click, click, boom, you're done. It's about, hey, you want to use this at a certain time. Like, calm down. Like, it's not just about pressing the button. But in terms of the story, I don't know. Like, I really enjoyed it, especially. But I don't know. Like, with Shulk being Obi hasn't played Kingdom Hearts, and I think I was talking to him about this a little bit,
Not
quite
yet.
some time ago, and I was trying to make it, I was trying to compare it to a part of Kingdom Hearts, Gru's, because I know you played it, but, I guess I won't go too much into it, but Shulk being essentially nothing. It's just like how Zanza called it, just a puppet, a hollow body, as you will. That to me sometimes makes me de-attached from the character. I don't know how that made y'all feel when y'all learned about that, but for me it was more like, okay, this
That confused me.
this
I'm
is
still a
this
little bit
this
confused
is
about
kind
that.
of
Well,
rough.
the thing is though is that like for me personally the way I see it is more of oh, and this is the same way that the party feels with the ending is like, oh, okay, this pompous dude that is God can just come in here and say that I'm nothing. Well, guess what? I'm gonna make my own Monado, and I'm gonna make a whole new world with no need for gods because screw you, Zanza. All right, and that's the way I saw it. You're trying to say that I'm nothing. Check out, I just got a Monado 3. What are you gonna do about that?
Yep. Yeah.
That's the great thing I do like is like yeah, Shulk like doesn't, and yeah, if you want to kind of compare it to Kingdom Hearts, it's like a bit of the same way with Sora. Without going into the story, it's all like it's not it's not the weapon and it's not the ability that makes Shulk a hero. It's just the fact that he has that drive to do what's right. And at
And
first
that's, yeah.
what he thinks is
Yeah.
right is revenge, but then he realizes what's actually right is proving to this god that this world is worth saving. His people, like, they're worth living. So, and he can't just snuff out their life just because he thinks they're like, ants or whatever.
Yeah, and that's kind
Food.
of how I started seeing it.
That's what makes Shulk a great protagonist and probably like my favorite protagonist in any RPG, honestly.
Cold, maybe you can, or Bruce, maybe you can clarify, um, is Shulk through the game, like that's his own personality, and Sansa's just kind of sleeping in the background, controlling
Yeah.
him, right?
Yeah, the only reason like Shulk died whenever all those people visited the church, but Zanza actually like took over his body which like brought him back, and he's been sleeping and recovering in like the back of his body since like
What do you
because like
mean
Zanza,
the
well,
church?
like because Zanza, whenever Shulk was little and you see only a couple cutscenes with his parents, and then they find the Monado, and then like some energy blast or something like kills all of them, and then Dixon finds all the bodies later, but Shulk is there still alive, so he takes Shulk back to Colony 9.
In the ice
And
thing?
that's mm,
Oh. Okay,
yeah,
because
and
like
that's
I think that's why I was confused too. I mean, that makes sense for sure. I think that I, at least I'm not sure if I'm going crazy or not. Now that I think about it, but something about that. I guess Sansa, because Sansa created the people. Like that's what he says, right? He created everything, but he was also waiting for a perfect vessel. And he created, I guess, Shulk in that sense, and that's why Shulk looks a lot like Sansa.
pretty
I
much, yeah.
suppose.
And so it was kind of like
Close,
fate
yeah.
or destiny that Shulk ended up, with his parents as a child in that church in Valak Mountain, because that's whenever Zanza sleeps within, and that's what gives Shulk the Monado power. So,
That's why he's able to
Mm,
wield it.
mhm.
Oh, look at
Yep,
you.
doing the
Put.
it's
research.
only my favorite game.
He's like,
I've played it. Let's see, playing it on definitive edition in 2020 was like probably the fifth time I had played through it, and like the
oh,
second time I had 100%ed it. So
100%.
yeah,
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
close too.
it's
I'm
it's
just
worth it.
doing
It's
side
what the
quests
only
and
thing that
colonies.
really sucks is the super bosses. You just have to get lucky with those pretty much. But
Why
because
don't you
the I don't
double logging?
top of logging works, but you have to get it like started in the first place, and that part is hard. But it's pretty much like the best way to do it. I did it like I topple locked, but like not in a cheese way where it would break out sometimes, and then I had to get it toppled again. Because I'm not good enough to just do topple lock over and over and over again. But that being said, though, I did use someone's guide as a help for because Avalanche Odyssey. I don't know if you found it in your playthrough, Phoenix, but that thing is level 120, and the level cap is 99.
What
So
the heck? So what are you supposed to do?
You have to have night vision gems and whatever the gems are called, where you do better against higher level enemies.
Oh,
get a lot
okay.
of gems.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You have to get like an exact like set of gems for. I used Shulk, Dunband, and Fiora for that. Though I think if you wanna do hard topple locks, you
I think
swap
they're
out
the best
Fiora for
team.
Ryan. They are the
think,
best team for
Shulk,
DPS for sure.
Dunban, and Fiora were that's what Eddie used to Phoenix.
Yeah, after because at first I was so mad about Fiora, like treats my boy Shoke like that, dies on me. I go in an adventure. I see that she's alive, kicking it with the villains. I'm like, "What's up, girl? Like, what just happened? We were just kicking it a couple while back. Like, give me back my sandwich."
She was
But
taken over by Mayneth.
exactly, and then so after that, then I didn't want to use her, but the more Obi started explaining like what Fiora does, that's what kind of prompted me to be like, oh snap, like she's really good, like she's actually really good. But if you guys don't mind, in terms of like talking about the Xenoblade series, I do want to go in the particular order that I went through, just so because it's still fresh on my mind, and I kind of
Yeah.
don't want to mix it up with with like information, because I was actually watching like now I was watching a timeline video. I think it was Game Explain recently put up a like a here's what you need to catch up on, or if you played it, here's a refresher, and it actually helped, right? Because even
Oh,
though
yeah.
I still recently played the games, there's still a lot of information that from that video I was like, oh yeah, that happened. Like, but
Do you know the YouTuber with the red hair? I think his name is HM something.
HMK, yeah,
HMK.
yeah, he's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. He made a video about the Xenoblade story up to, of course, up to 3, and it's like actually very good. It explains
Oh wow.
the whole timeline thing.
Oh, I'm
So
gonna
you
have to
should
check
watch
that out.
that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna have to check that out because I liked it. I liked it. And so in that regards, I know that talking about the Xenoblade One, we do learn that Sansa is sort of well at the time we only knew it was there was a scientist named Claus with another girl that her name escapes me, and Bruce may be able to.
Galea.
Yeah. Oh, nice. So.
Actually, I don't think they say her name in
In the first
Xenoblade
game.
1. Yeah,
Oh,
they say it in
okay.
Xenoblade 2, so that's why.
Oh, okay. And so,
Mhm.
we learned that they're, in somewhere in space, and they cause this, big explosion which causes the world to basically be cleared of everything, but these two giant Bionis raise from the ground, and these two Zanza and I keep trying to say Mithra, but it's not Mithra.
Mayneth.
Mayneth
Uh-huh.
sort of give themselves the role of gods and try to destroy each other, but the great battle makes them stunned, which then of course Sansa gets sort of imprisoned, held back until of course his plan is to have another vessel, of worthy vessel, so he can come back, and that's essentially what starts it. And I think that was a unique way to start, to basically tell you what happened, but also the other fact that they're also laying down the groundwork of what's going down in another universe, because of course we see Alvis with his little chain that has a little conduit symbol.
Oh, the core crystal.
Yeah, the core crystal. Yeah, that's right.
Which was originally a key in the Wii version, but they changed it to a core crystal in definitive edition, which is really cool.
Oh,
So
cool.
it matches up with 2. So yeah,
Yep.
I don't think they, like I mentioned in the comment or messages earlier, like I don't think they made Xenoblade 1 with the intention of it like being this like series that would get multiple games. So they just
Definitely.
kind of made it as its own thing. But then they did 2, and Definitive Edition was an opportunity to go back in and make sure that everything lines up together.
Yeah, I think they expected Xenoblade to be a bit like Xenogears, of like this will be a good one-off. But now it's an even more popular franchise than Xenosaga. So Monolith Soft is popping off. Good for them.
Yeah,
You know.
and it's really good. But now, of course, does anybody want to add any last comments for Xenoblade 1?
I mean, I could talk about the game literally forever. So I could comment, but I could also, we could move on.
Go with the flow. but no, we can definitely bounce back and forth. I want to definitely kind of go through the story so that then we can kind of have these theories in terms of like what's gonna happen in our thoughts. But I do want to talk about, of course, the next game I personally played, and I went through a forbidden order that is not highly recommended in the community. But I went into a timeline order where I played Torna right after Xenoblade 1, and that's only because it takes place 500 years prior to um, Xenoblade 2. So a little disclaimer, of course, just in terms of the release games, Xenoblade 2 was released first, then Torna. So if you want to play it in the way it was, released officially, that is that order. But in terms of actual timeline number, Torna DLC takes place prior to Xenoblade 2. And with that said, I do want to say that the DLC was a massive game. It was like it didn't even feel like a DLC. It felt like a game. Like it actually felt like a game.
It got released separately as its own game, like after the DLC came out.
Oh, that's why I would see the price difference of like, because you can play it without having to own Xenoblade 2. Oh, okay, that makes sense now.
It even had its own limited physical release, which was cool.
Snap.
I think it's really expensive now.
Oh, wow. Yeah, super expensive. It was very limited.
And so I want to definitely talk about that. Torna. My first kind of thoughts about the Torna DLC were actually pretty positive. Like my very first question was, "Where's the Monado?" Like I kept thinking that in my head, like it's gonna pop up. It's gonna pop up.
Where Monado?
Yeah, but it didn't pop up.
Even through the second game, you kept saying the Monado, the Monado.
Oh my god, I thought it was gonna pop up. No one would correct me in the chat, but that's because I guess nobody wanted to be like spoilers. Like, there's no Monado.
Yeah,
I mean, technically,
there is a Monado. Yeah, and we'll definitely get to that. We'll definitely get to that. And so having to meet Mithra and Torna at the beginning, for me, I literally I'm not sure if it'll be or you saw this, but I was literally, that's the girl from Smash. Like I was literally like,
I mean, you kept saying that through two, so
oh yeah,
that's the boob girl.
Well, for me, like I'm not gonna lie, like I was starstruck in that sense where like, for me, you know how like if you were to see a celebrity, you're starstruck. For me, it was I was starstruck just by seeing Mithra, because I was like, for me, I learned of her through Smash, and for me, it was like, oh snap, like that's from Smash.
Like, you were like when Graham showed up, you were like, oh look, it's the stage from Smash.
Yeah, I was like, look, it's the guy from Smash, and it was just so cool. And then of course, kicking myself again, because these games are just incredible, man. And then Torna really establishes the emotional connection that the characters go through this story to try to stop a Blade from trying to basically destroy everything because he hates humans, and that is my boy Malos. I said that kind of weirdly, Malos or Malos, I think they say it.
They say Malos as white as possible, please.
There you go. And so, playing through this, for me, it was like, the gameplay I will say, because that was one thing that Obi would advocate for, like that the gameplay was way better in Torna as opposed to Xenoblade 2. And I have to agree that the gameplay, for me personally, I really did enjoy Torna's gameplay over Xenoblade 2 battle gameplay, because I like the fact that all your blades and everybody is in the action.
You can use them.
And like you're actually there. But what I do not understand, and I would say this in the playthrough, is you're level 10, you're fighting a level 5, and you're still not doing, massive damage. And I get it, like reasonably the developers probably didn't want you to destroy everything, because you
Yeah.
do have like 10, 15 people. That's exaggerating, but you do have a lot of people in your party. But it's still the fact that like sometimes I'm like, there's 10, like there's a few of
Yeah,
us, why are we not doing
Torna,
damage?
Torna, and also the main game felt like the enemies had a lot of HP, but that's because they really wanted you to focus on doing combos, like topple, launch, smash,
I
and
like
also the
those.
elemental combos.
I like those, and then the driver combo as well. But what I do also want to give a spotlight to here is the characters. In Torna, Laura, Jin, are the two that of course stick out because they were the main characters. But the guy with the guns, he was
Nomura
cool.
characters.
Yeah,
The
Nomura design.
yeah, the
His beautiful
Nomura
art.
Jin,
design.
Malos,
The Nomura
and
design.
yeah, I think it was just Jin, Malos, what's his name? Akos and Protoka, and
Really?
also
Troka. Yeah.
Mikhail.
Wow, that's
Mhm.
crazy. Okay.
You can just tell in any of the 2D art, you can tell it's him because he just has such a
It looks like
distinct art
Kingdom
style.
Hearts.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
how I could tell. Like for Jin, because his little style, like yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, and I was like, yep, that's my point.
Nomura's art style is actually incredible. Like, he's a great 2D artist.
Yeah, for sure. And so for Torna, do you guys remember playing that one as well for the first time ever? Like actually, like I know for you guys it's reversed. You guys played 2 and then Torna. So I want to hear about that point of view. Like, what was it like finishing 2? Which we'll get into 2, but the fact is, y'all finished 2 and then y'all jumped into Torna.
Yeah, so I mean, the big thing about it was like in 2, there was like a mystery about who Mitra's driver was, the original one, and they kept showing him in a hood, and we were like, who is that guy? Is that Shulk or something? So I remember that was a fan theory back then, and people were like, wait, is that gonna be Shulk? And then you kind of see his mouth, and it kind of looks like Shulk in 2s. And no, we just went into Torna, and they're like, oh, so that's who Adam is. So I just explained some extra stuff. But I mean, we already knew what it was gonna happen at the end. We were like, oh, this is gonna be the game where it's gonna have a bad ending, and you can't do anything about
About
it.
it.
Yep.
And
Gonna have that Empire Strikes Back ending.
And that's actually very interesting because okay, yeah, I can definitely see that. For me, in terms of like the atom being covered, I kind of saw that, going into 2, I kind of saw that as like they couldn't really remember how he looked like. At least that's how I was interpreting it. Like, because again, like the sequence of order was that I got to see Adam. Adam is my favorite character. In I would actually, now that I finished it, I would officially say Adam is my favorite character of Torna and Xenoblade 2, and I think maybe even Xenoblade 1 because
You're gonna hate me for this, but I think it's Jin. I like Jin the
no,
best.
I hate that dude. Oh my god, that dude can go freaking freeze himself multiple times. I'd break his ass like click, 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 click.
Jin is an edgelord.
Dude,
I love
no, how? Why, dude? That dude is the biggest flip flop ever. Oh my god. But like, and that was like neat because again, like in my point of view, playing it like that, where it's like I saw him, have this relationship with Laura, and they would put hints of like them liking each other, and they actually hinted at that, Blades and drivers actually can get married, or I think that was in 2. Actually, yeah, that was in 2 with Zeke and his Blade, but just little hints like that. So it was neat. But seeing Adam, his characteristic of just being able to kind of be a fair for all type of mentality, a strong leadership, those are the characters that kind of drive me really cool. But I still decided to play as Laura because if I'm really being honest, the whole changing character is like complicated for me. Like I know for you guys it's like what, it's just a button, but for me it becomes complicated because then I have to learn like different timings and stuff, and it's like
I mean,
I just
now
wanna...
that you played 2, I would say it's kind of like switching blades in the main story when you
Yeah,
press like left, up, or down on the D-pad.
yeah,
It's kind of
Yeah.
like that, but like you actually control the blade now.
Yeah, because that was cool of Torna. Like I liked it because, like for example, with Laura it was break, and then with you switch with Jin, and that was cool. I'm not even gonna take that away from Topple, or I think that was the next combination. Yeah, that Topple, and then that was
Launch.
badass. Then of course launch with Mithra and Adam. Oh, I did switch to Adam for a bit and a little bit because I needed to do that one quest where you need to do a couple driver combos. But Adam was a beast. I love Adam. I don't know who, but oh yeah, well Obi likes Jin. Oh my god, dude. I don't
Adam
know.
is a good old boy.
The reason for that is because when I played 2, I'm playing and I'm like, oh, who's this Jin? And then like he slashes or he does a Sephiroth on Rex.
Oh yeah, for real. He just goes, Clayton, I'm over here like Sephiroth.
Should I give you despair?
Dang, oh yeah, you despair. Oh my god. What about you?
Let me say real quick, like I just saw it and I'm like, this guy's a dick. I don't like him. And then we get to the later part of the game where you like kind of start feeling for him and he's sad and I'm like, oh, I feel for you. And then you play Torna and his backstory and I'm like, okay, I like him now. He's cool.
For me, it's reverse. I like it was like okay, like I get it, y'all. But then it was kind of like when you're cool with somebody, but you learn they did something so tragic. You're like, dude, like that's not you. Like I can't mess with you no more, bro. How you gonna eat someone's heart, bro? How you gonna eat someone's heart? Like, come on now. Like I can't even back you up on that.
You're canceled, Jin.
You're canceled, Jin. Get out of here.
I mean, she won. Didn't Laura like? He like whisper in her ear right before he did it.
He whispered something, and did is that particular part canon in terms of like, did we ever know what was said?
I mean, no, but it's implied that he told her, "Hey, there's a way I can keep your memories if I eat you or something."
But what's
and he proceeds to do it.
And okay, and only because like it ties in with Torna because it happens, basically at the end of Torna. But so that was really it. He just wanted to keep the memories. Because when I saw Laura's body, I was like, "Hi!" I was like, "Oh my god, they're going to do something." But so her body was just there, just to a corpse.
Yeah, pretty much.
That is sick, like bad.
Because Jin, he didn't want to die because Laura's last words like really stuck with him, where she said, like my heart would break in two. Like the only thing that could hurt more than dying and not seeing you anymore is the thought of you being reborn and not remembering who I was.
Oh yeah, that's true. And I do understand that because because my girl was watching me play and she was like, "That's so beautiful," and she's like all crying about it. I'm just like,
was she really crying?
Yeah, dude. She would be playing Destiny and then she would die constantly because she would just be looking at my screen, like especially the cutscenes. She really got into it. Like she was actually one of the girls that just didn't like Pyro and Mithra. I don't know if it's just a girl thing. I really don't. But
I wonder why girls don't like them. Maybe it's because they're over sexualized.
They're over sexualized. Maybe. But after completing Xenoblade, she actually became one of their fans now. Like she was really crying at that Xenoblade 2 ending when we'll get there, but just to let everybody know, yeah, once we got to that ending, Rex saying goodbye to Pyramid, it was waterworks. Like it was like SeaWorld up in here. Like it was like, damn, are you okay? But and then it made me emotional too. It was just funny though, because in stream, like the fan is in the ceiling where I'm at, and so when it blows for whatever reason, I guess it's because I was feeling emotional. You know how you get water in your eyes, but you're not watery yet, like you're not about to cry. They just get a little bit of watery, I guess. So that they get a little bit watery. I guess the wind kept pushing the water around, I guess, and that's what made me kind of seem on stream that I was crying. So I kept yeah, exactly. I was telling everyone they're gonna think I'm crying. I'm not, but it was like
it's okay.
It was the most inconvenient time because it would be sad scene. Like it was a sad scene, but Bruce, we haven't heard you, man. Why are you silent about these Torna characters? Don't tell me you don't like none of them.
Well, see, there's a couple things here. For one, I didn't play Torna.
What?
I only watched the cutscenes. So, yeah, because I didn't have the time. I only just finished Xenoblade 2, like, pretty recently.
He did. That's true.
So,
wow.
and I don't have the mental capacity to beat an RPG in 2 days. So, so yeah, I mean, like, I don't really have as much. I just kind of, with the Torna characters, I don't know. I just like I think I like Adam a lot. Adam is a really cool dude.
Yeah.
Because he's just kind of more laid back about things, and that's what I like about him. Jin, I don't know, like I felt the way that Obi did during while playing Xenoblade 2, but my opinions on him didn't change. I was just like, yeah, this guy's kind of a dick. He's way too moody.
Yeah, I kept thinking of Shadow the Hedgehog.
the like I guess he is like a cool character, and his backstory stuff like is really sweet. And like even though the reason why he keeps her body around is like weird, it's also sweet in a way as well because of that very last line. So I get it, but like I'll just say I wasn't feeling much in Xenoblade 2 whenever he did his sacrifice. I was like, all right, see ya, bro. Yeah. Sorry to bring things down a bit, but that's just kind of that's like I thought Xenoblade 2 was a great game overall, but like a lot of the story I was just kind of like, yeah, okay.
Like that
all
happened.
Right.
Yeah, no, and that's definitely fair. And so that is very interesting. So that you just skipped that. And but yeah, it is pretty long. That definitely yeah. At least it's a good thing you watch the cutscenes.
We're talking about 2 now, or is it still Torna?
Yeah, you'll have more to say about Torna.
Oh, Obi's like two. But I do.
To Gruce's favorite character, Tora.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
well, I do want to end it with, of course, again, Torna is the DLC of 500 years prior to Xenoblade 2, so it ends sort of in this very devastated, which it was actually another scene that actually almost made me cry on stream too, and I think no one was watching me, so that was good. It was one of those times where you're like watching your view account and you're, okay, God, but then you remember, wait, it's recorded. Like they're gonna watch me. Because I was actually it was the part where Mithra notices that her power actually killed that I'm sorry, I forgot his name, but Catboy. I totally forgot.
Boy.
Yeah, the Catboy, the boy that Mika.
Oh,
yeah,
that's right.
And the king's also dead, and just having to see that her power, she meant to stop Malos, and she did, but that came at an ultimate price. And that's what I'm talking about when it's not just your typical hero wins and go on for the day. These stories actually have an impact, and I had a theory, when I saw that scene afterwards, when Mithra created Pyra, it did remind me a lot of Moon Knight, because in Moon Knight, for those who don't know, which is on Disney Plus, no, I'm just kidding. Moon Knight actually creates has personality disorder and creates these alter egos because he doesn't want to deal with post-traumatic disorder or something that PTSD, so he creates another persona to avoid that. And that's basically what Mithra did when she built, because she actually confirmed she makes Pyra. She constructed Pyra, and that's basically what she did to avoid having to walk those shoes. But the thing about Mithra is that the memories go on. The memories are connected between Pyra and Mithra, so it's constantly there. She's just not having to be present or deal with people, because Pyra is the one in her physical form. But it was a sad scene for me to see that, like, especially after seeing everybody come together in that DLC. Which then, of course, leads in the cutscene. The final cutscene actually shows Rex opening the door, and I thought that was also another hype moment. I which is also in the VOD too, where I was like, "Oh shit!" Like that, there it is. Which then, of course,
I like. Wait, what?
Oh, go
opening
ahead.
the door.
Yeah,
whenever Rex first finds
Pyra.
Pyra.
Oh, okay.
That's like the last thing you see. It's kind of I really like when things do that. Like Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core does a thing where at the very very end of the game you see Cloud on top of the train, and it's like it's going right into the very beginning of FF7, and it's like I love stuff like that. So
yeah, exactly. And
when prequels do that, it's really cool.
Well, and that's what I mean. Like that's that part that I'm telling you where it's like that's that continuity time that I like, where it's like it sets up the next story, and you know, in this particular part, you know, we see Rex doing it, and that to me, I was like, oh my god, that's a perfect start. Like this is awesome. Like, and then of course we're finally here, the beginning of Xenoblade 2.
I thought we
And
had started the Xenoblade too, so I was a bit confused with that last. Like, I'm like, what?
Yeah, that was a mix of both, I guess. Yeah,
No, we were
but
still talking about the end of Torna, which also I want to say shout outs to Sky Bennett, Pyra and Mithra's voice actress, because God, she was incredible in that scene at the
she
end.
did both.
She was both of them. Yeah.
What? That is nuts. It sounds like different, like people.
Mhm.
That is
Yeah, no,
nuts.
she's really talented. Yeah.
Wow, that's actually really.
Mhm.
I'm impressed because I all
Yeah.
this time I would tell my girl like I'm sure they're different people because you hear them like my Mithra is more like just like kind of that type of girl where it's like don't mess with me type of vibe, and
Tsundere.
then Pyra is like the just calmer, like talk to me, like let's.
Pyra's the sweet waifu.
Yeah, and so,
Mithra is the boss girl tsundere.
but she's still wifey. What? No, I'm just kidding. But for sure, for Xenoblade 2, I think that something I keep talking to my girl about was the fact that the game kind of basically, and correct me if I'm wrong, or maybe I'm the only one that feels this, but they really do kind of have this forceful. Pyra is Rex's blade instead of Pyra and Mithra. And then of course like in cover art you only see Rex's, you know, the Pyra blade, the fire blade. So is that, what do you guys think about that? Is that like is that are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? Cuz like
I mean,
you know, cuz like with
yeah,
Choke you think Monado. With Rex, I honestly think Pyra's
it's just
sword.
Pyro's sword, yeah, because that's his main, his first blade, I guess. Because that's the same reason you don't see the Monado 3 in like the art, because they're not going to show you like the later swords
Yeah.
for spoilers or whatever. So I don't really think a whole lot about that. It's just, yeah, Pyro was the first one he saw.
Mhm.
He's how he met her. So
I don't know. I will say
yeah.
though, I think that Rex does have more, like, I think he likes Pyra more than Mithra, and then it's kind of at the end of the game he kind of takes both of them for being the same. But like
Yeah.
that's why the game gives you the. So here's a question: whenever the game asks you what you want to name,
Mithra.
I picked
Numa.
Pyro.
Mithra.
Okay, so I think I picked Mithra as well because I like Mithra more. However,
agree.
I think
Yeah.
I think the canon choice is Pyra because I think
Yeah.
Rex just straight up cares
Yeah,
about
that's
Pyra
what
more
Phoenix
than
was saying.
Mithra.
And that's what I'm saying because like I
Which it
think
also changes the final cutscene. He actually the one he's screaming for whenever he can't make it over the gap is actually dependent on which you picked, which I think works better if you pick Pyra.
Yeah, because it kind of did sound weird. I was kind of like, when he was like, Mithra, I was kind of like, wait,
Yeah.
that's a change. You go from Pyra to Mithra all of a sudden. But then I remembered, I chose Mithra. That's probably what it was.
Yeah, and that cutscene actually changes, which is really
Yeah.
cool.
And so I
But,
guess that answers that because, yeah, to me, it definitely feels like more canon if he sticks with Pyra. But I understand, like, you know, because like Obi said, like, or I think it was, you just said this, Goose, but he learned to kind of accept both and to kind of use both in terms of the, you know, blades and stuff.
And then it doesn't matter because they're separated at the end anyway.
Yeah, that's
so,
true. There you go.
And my man Rex.
I remember telling Phoenix, okay, just wait, make sure you go to the title screen when you're done.
Oh yeah.
And he was holding both of their hands.
My man is hitting it the 3-way. Good
There
job,
you
Rex.
go.
Good job.
Let's go,
He's
Rex.
15. That's really gross.
And so that's awesome.
Anyways,
and so I do want to talk about that in terms of particular, like Pyro and Mithra being new characters. I thought, you know, because again, like I saw Smash, right? I saw Super Smash Brothers, and I was like, Pyro and Mithra. To me, at the time, I was like, what is this? Like I don't know them. You know, again, I didn't really know much of Xenoblade.
That was the direct that Splatoon 3 got announced, and I don't know if we were watching it together, but I was hyped and I was telling you about it. You're
Yeah.
like, okay.
Yeah, and I was just like, I mean, I just like the fire chick because fire. But you know, now having to play through Xenoblade 2, which a game like for me personally, so again, I love the Xenoblade series, but in terms of my critique for Xenoblade 2, you know, I guess for stuff happening at the same time, my question is, should they carry the two? Like, should a title carry the two if it's happening at the same time? I kind of feel like a number
Yes.
sequence should be like a
Yes.
sequence.
I mean, yeah,
It's meant to be the second one you played. Otherwise, if you
Yeah.
played this one first, it's just like Obi said the first time he played it, he didn't know what was happening in the end whenever you hear Shulk's voice. It's definitely intended to be a sequel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, in that regards, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, in
Mhm.
that conversation, yeah, I would have to definitely agree because
it
for
could also sorry, but it could also be played first. Like I wouldn't if someone really, or like if you don't want to go through
yeah,
one and like I really just want to enjoy this game. Do I really need to play the first game? Like no, you don't. It's like it's a self-contained story, but
yeah.
ideally you would want to play the first game first.
Yeah, because well, I
True.
will
Yeah.
say for sure, because that show quote is definitely very impactful when you do play it. Because if you go reverse, I assume maybe the quote's probably as equal, but maybe a little less. Because I mean, you may miss it if you play two first, then go back to one, and then you be like, you watching YouTube videos. Oh yeah, that was said right there. But it was hype, you know, that quote. Can anybody recall
Such a
the
big
exact
moment.
quote?
It's the today we decide to fell a
No,
god. Something like that.
today we use our power to follow God, and
There you
then
go.
forge
Caesar.
our own destiny. Seize our
There you go.
destiny.
That's
That
a
was one
really
word.
dope. That is a really thing. And then but I will say I do want to touch up on Claus because basically he's just a person that regrets his actions. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you watch, like I was mentioning that HMK video that he explains it better, but essentially like Klaus, like his personality is kind of split. Like his good side is still stuck on Alrest, and then his bad side went off to his ego side went off to Xenoblade One's universe, and that's why he's
Yeah.
like a ego maniac god
Oh.
that wants control
Mhm.
over everything.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
his bad side is Zanza.
I thought we were gonna
So
throw down with Claus. I was getting all ready and stuff, and like, damn, nothing happened. All
no,
right.
that's what the first game's for.
Yeah,
This is for the first game you kick his ass, and then in the second game you see like, oh yeah, there's actually a part of him that regrets what he did. Interesting.
man. But one of my
So
favorite parts of Xenoblade 2 is that song. What is it
Oh,
called? Desire or what?
something souls beyond. Oh fuck, let me look it
Split
up.
Souls or something?
Hold on,
Dark
I have
Souls.
Dark. Now talking about Dark Souls.
drifting soul.
Drifting Souls.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh my god,
Yeah.
dude, that song. Now every time it did come up though, someone either died or something. 'Cause every time.
When you hear those lyrics, you know.
And then like I told you on the morning when someone literally said, you know, you losing in Smash, you're down 2 stocks, you're about to get 3 stocked, and then
And
that
Drifting
song
Soul
starts playing.
It's the same with my favorite song in Xenoblade 1, Once We Part Ways. It plays exactly 2 times. First time it plays is when you leave Colony 9 with Ryan after the attack. Second time it plays is when you're killing Zanza. And it's like, oh my god, it came back. It's so smart.
It goes
So
what
it-
goes around comes around.
The Xenoblade both Xenoblade 1 and 2 are incredibly good at like having like set songs and then like you choosing specific cutscenes to use them in, and then also matching that cutscene to the music. Where like, you know, if they're like every time you hear engage the enemy in the first Xenoblade game is always when like some stuff's going down, and then like right at the very end you hear that piano drop at the very end, and that's whenever either somebody dies or you know that's whenever Shulk and Fiora are walking up to Dixon like, yeah, we're gonna mess you up now, dude. So and it's the exact same with
slow
that.
motion.
Yeah, oh, that part is, and then it goes into you will know our names. Oh
my God, so good.
so
Yoko Shimomura is a genius.
She is one of the best video game composers of all time.
And she will compose the music, one of the music composers for Mario and Rabbids, which, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be at the East.
I think for the most part, that's Grant Kirkhope, though, right? Who did like all the Rare games?
Yeah. So Grant Kirkhope was definitely on the first one for sure. But I saw that Twitter post where they brought in Yoko Shimomura and then the other composer, which, please forgive me, people that are listening. I'm sure everybody else knows him, but I had looked him up, but it was definitely one of the big games that he made. But there's 3 composers now. But I'm not sure if they're implying that, all of them are doing the work, or if Grant Kirkhope is the main one and the other 2 are just doing like 1 or 2. Because, I think Yoko Shimomura is back. Is back for Xenoblade 3. I haven't been wanting to like search because I really want to avoid spoilers. But I think she's back for 3rd.
I'm sure she is. They usually have the composers come back. I don't know if you've listened to any of the soundtracks for Xenoblade 3.
No.
Which I could link him on Discord later.
No, I want him to be all by surprise. Because the one song about Xenoblade 2 that was annoying is that battle theme at the beginning when you're playing with Rex and teaming up with Jin and Malos, and that rock theme, like his own song, and it's like, what is this? But I
didn't mind it.
But I understand that Yoko Shimomura was also not the composer for Xenoblade 2.
No.
But I mean, we did get, Drifting Souls and another other beautiful pieces like Gormat. And
oh yeah, the choir.
Yeah, the choir. I love the choir part for Gormat. And I do want to talk about the other characters, of course, like Nia and Tor. What's his name?
Nia's backstory. Bruce could tell you his name.
That's Torna.
Torna.
That's I will say this because okay, look, I'm not a Torna hater, all right? I think he has his really, really good moments in the story. But anytime I'm playing as him in the overworld and I go to check out a rock or something to get some items, and he it's like, shut up! God! Ricky was never this annoying.
I was watching Phoenix play and he's like meh, and I'm like, oh my gosh, please switch to another character.
Look, I also don't like the horny implications between him and Poppy.
Oh yeah.
but there are also some really sweet moments between him and Poppy as well, so it's like a balance. So I think Tora's good. I don't know why people like him more than Ricky though. Personally, Ricky is top tier Napon to me.
Nah,
I think it has more to do with people who played the second game first. That's how they were introduced to the series, because Etika really streamed that game, made it popular.
True. Yeah, especially with it being on Switch too within the launch year.
For me, it was just more that I keep forgetting now. I'm not doing it on purpose. What's his name? What? Torna. Okay, Torna.
Right, Sora.
Like exactly. I was gonna say Terra, Torna.
Oh.
But
you would say Terra.
For me, it's just more that I felt like Torna had more personality, and I thought he was funny. And a lot of times too, but Hero Pawn for me was I guess it's also because I never really used them.
You never, yeah, that's what I was gonna
say. And the other thing was I was starstruck when I did see him because I recognized him and Dunban from the final Smash that Shulk did. So I was also like, oh, that's him. That's him. I saw him in the little Smash cutscene. I know.
That's the guy from the Smash Brothers.
Yeah, exactly. For me, it was like that a lot of the time. It was like, oh my god, that's the guy from Smash instead of the other way around. That's the guy from Xenoblade.
What does it for me is 2 moments, and it's the in that final fight with Dixon where everybody's having that moment of Shulk, get up, you gotta do it. And then he goes up and he goes up to Shulk and he's like, Ricky, no, that Shulk is real Hero Pawn. And I was like, let's go. There was that, and then also the moment where they all get separated on the fallen arm, and it's Melia, Dunban, and Ricky together.
Oh yeah.
And Ricky says that he's tired and wants to rest,
yeah, that was
but
cool.
he says that because he notices that Melia is tired and wants to let her rest. And then that whole conversation he has with Dunban is just so good. He's like actually like a solid father. Yeah. He's actually sorry, Dunban, not Datapon. But Ricky is just like Ricky is a lot more like subtle in what makes him really great. He's also just the fact that he's a jack of all trades in terms of gameplay makes him like really good too.
Yeah.
There's like, you know, with all jack of all trades in every RPG, eventually they kind of don't have their purpose. But you know, he still ends up being pretty good even in the end game. So like, I don't know, just personally for me, Ricky will always be my favorite Nopon. But there's definitely things about Torna that I do like. Mostly I do like how they actually have a character that is a driver, but he actually can't like get blades. So he had to make his own blade. Like I think that's actually really cool.
Yeah.
No,
and this is why you're wrong. So no, I'm just kidding. Like damn, right to the point. Whoa. But yeah, so and something I also want to touch upon is that like it was just neat that Xenoblade 2 did have a lot of those like really neat moments. There's one in particular that also almost literally made me cry on stream, and it was a simple scene. It was when Rex got basically, jumped and beat up, and it was right after Malos and Jin took Pyra because Pyra was threatening to kill herself if they hurt Rex. And
you bloody idiot!
Yeah. For me, I don't know why. Like when I resonate, because I resonate more with characters that are like our leaders. But when you notice a character that is always optimistic, and when that character breaks down, and shows you that they're actually just normal, that scene to me was what made me Rex is badass. Because like, sometimes again, a lot of these main characters are built where it's like, I'm undefeated, I'm untouchable, I would never. But when you see that optimism break down and him packing his stuff and about to leave, that made it for me. I was like, oh my goodness, if Rex is giving up, like this is really it. Like dang. And then watching everybody care, being mad, of course, because Rex is giving up. Like it's so out of character, and that's really what I appreciated from that arc. Was that, again, Rex optimistic, never gives up, and just seeing him break down and to the point to where he just wants to go home because he knows he can't do anything. That was a really good scene for me. Like it really did make me connect with Rex. Like dang, like if he's gonna give up, like. That's really hard. That's it, man. Like that's it. And I honestly would have been fine if it would have said, end of Xenoblade 2, purchase future DLC. This is Xenoblade 2. Rex comes back.
No, guys, I got it. Check it out. Xenoblade 2. Come
on. Yeah, exactly. And then it'll be we're gonna sell it in parts like EA, like shit, like little missions and stuff. But yeah, that scene to me, like it was definitely the first scene that really made me be like, dang, this Xenoblade really the series is Monolith is doing something. And with 3, I feel like, a lot of it was because, and I'm still to streaming, so a lot of my emotions I tend to hold back. But with 3, I'm gonna try to be more relaxed because a lot of these things do deserve your full emotion, like there's no just if you're holding those emotions in. And so I feel like with 3, I really want them to bring it in because, especially we'll get to in discussion with 3, but but do you guys personally recall that one scene that made you guys feel like, dang, like, all right, I'm crying, or I'm close to crying?
Yeah, it was that one, and also at the very end when like Poppy says she can't break the promise.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and then Rex is like, Poppy, come on, and he's like, he starts freaking out. Yeah. That one, I kind of part of me like I love that scene, but also like, Pyra and Mithra come back, like 3 minutes later.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the moment for me where I was like, because I too also saw the Smash trailer before I played Xenoblade 2. I thought that Pyra and Mythra were just not like going to come back at all. So I like because of seeing that Smash trailer and just the thought of like, oh yeah, they really are going to be gone. That cutscene hit me really hard too. But then they come back and it's like, oh,
Like
okay. I mean, the Gramps thing is funny though because they actually try to frame it as like look at how sad this is, and then he's like, oh, why are you sad? I'm gonna be just a little dude now. So
and
that, yeah, I mean that's more of like an issue for me personally. Like I don't think it's actually like an issue with the game. It's just like yeah, I think it's a little weird that they have this really emotional, huge moment, and then the girls come back anyways. It's like,
and that's
okay.
what was surprising to me, because I'm usually like that too, especially with the MCU, when they're like they kill someone but they bring them back like next movie or the last act of the movie, and it's like, why am I weeping or having any? Why would I have any emotion to this character now? Like, great, thanks, but for some reason, for me, it still did it. Like just the fact that like, damn, like Mythra and Pyra, and then when they came back, I was actually like, oh shit, yes, like they came back, like. Happy. So for me, I don't know. Like that's why I'm saying. Like I don't know if it's just age or something for me specifically, but a lot of these moments are starting to hit a lot more harder than I used to be. Hardcore stone, and now it's like, oh, dang, Poppy, please help him cross. Just do it. Like,
I mean, they would have died. He would have died for real.
Nah,
Exactly,
he
yeah.
would have been gone. But yeah, it's moments like that for me, the Xenoblade series is definitely good. But before we jump, go ahead.
Before we jump real quick, there's a scene that really stuck out to me. I don't really frame it as sad, but it's the one where I can't remember who it was, if it was Nia or Grant. They were talking about Pyro, like how can you trust her this much? Next thing you know, she could stab you in the back, and she's like, "No, I wouldn't do that. I don't have a knife."
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh well,
No, that's great. There's so much good humor
comedy
in the game.
Yes.
Like the I think the funniest scene in the entire game is the second time you fight Zeke, where he just straight up just calls himself a penis, and then they're all like, "Do you know what that means?" One-eyed monster, and then I think it's Mythra that just throws Rex.
What that means?
Throws Rex into the camera. Yeah. Oh my, really, Phoenix?
That's what that meant. I didn't know. I wasn't gonna Google. I was gonna Google it.
One-eyed monster,
but
means
I
penis.
Oh, I didn't know. I really didn't know. Oh my!
That's why that scene is so funny. And then I think Mythra throws Rex into the camera, and then it does the JRPG screen shatter before a fight. It's so good. So the comedy. I think sometimes it goes a little too far into the Baka Senpai anime kind of tropes in terms of its comedy, where it's like, oh yes, this is Poppy and now she's in maid mode, and it's like
Did you get Cutie Pie?
I did get Poppy Cutie Pie, actually.
Wait, what?
The third form.
There is a third form of Poppy. Yeah.
See, I want to replay that. I want to do that. But
this is why you don't speed run RPGs.
And so I do want to talk about that, particularly the humor aspect, because Zeke was my favorite. I love the turtle scene. I don't know if y'all remember.
Yeah.
Well, he was
handling a man's turtle.
Yeah, handling a man's turtle. Oh my god, he was hilarious. I loved him. Just the fact that he like causes the mice twice. And
I really do kind of like how like Zeke and Morag kind of just become the parents of the party by the end.
Yeah.
Like I kind of like if we want to get super real, I really wish that they had more importance to the plot, especially Morag. I personally feel like Morag does not have any importance to the plot, besides the fact that she is Brigid. But at the same time, I do like how like her and Zeke take that parental figure of just like, yeah, here go, we have to deal with all these dumb kids.
Yeah. No, yeah. In that sense, yeah, they don't really have much. Even Morag says it. Well, I'm just here because the king wants me to join you guys. Like, And yeah, there's not really like a point to them per se, but I guess
I think her whole purpose of being with the party is just because she has Bridget.
Yeah.
And she wanted to see. She was like, "Oh, I'm curious about where this boy's gonna go with the Aegis or whatever."
Yeah.
That is true. Yeah, that's like her final reason for like definitively joining the party.
Yeah, and it was a good one. She's a good tank.
Yes,
And
she is.
She's like Dumban.
Dumban.
She's got that agility. Yeah, no, she was in my end game party was Rex and her and Zeke, and of course Blade Nia, because best girl.
I can't use her. I don't know how.
Because you didn't know how to.
I didn't. I don't know how. No, yeah, that's really what it was. I don't know how to beat. Like, there's just so much prompts. Like, there's so many buttons going off, and now like
this dude keeps saying that, but then you watch the stream and he's doing like a 4 combo
because
killing
like
the boss in
I'm
2 minutes.
literally just timing them. Like I understand the concept, but then like when you're fighting, you know how like all of a sudden, I guess it's because like when stuff starts happening all at once, that's what makes me like, what the fuck is all these buttons? Like,
Dude,
I don't.
Well, you know what? On the real, sorry, I interrupted you. You go ahead, Obi.
Oh no, I was just gonna say it real quick. I think the timing that's throwing you off has to do because of that input lag that we would told you about on the TV. You remember that, Bruce?
Oh God, were you not playing through a monitor, Phoenix? What the hell? That's
and
awful.
You're like, oh, it feels smoother when I play it like this, but then there's input lag. You're like, oh, I can't really tell.
Oh,
but, I mean,
that's what that is.
No. You should probably play it with as little latency as possible.
So all those times, I didn't miss the B button.
I mean, well, you did, but that's because you were looking at the wrong. You were looking at the wrong screen.
No, it's the TV. The TV has like it was not in game mode. He has it in some other mode that the TV processes the images with more frames to make it look smoother when it's not actually that smooth, and that causes latency.
Motion smoothing. Wait. I don't remember you having motion smoothing on. You had game mode off because you like to have the highest resolution. Even though it's a Switch, its max output is 1080.
It was that, but there's a mode on the TV that makes the game look smoother.
Motion smoothing,
doubling the frame rate.
I got a new TV that has motion smoothing during my playthrough of Xenoblade 2, and I tried it, and it makes it literally unplayable, because the game, the frame interpolating, it works a lot better with movies, but you just straight up cannot play video games with motion smoothing. I mean, I think motion smoothing is crap, anyways, but video games like if. With a game where you can move the camera, motion smoothing just cannot work. It cannot process those frames fast enough, so it'll just look like a jarbled mess. So, no, I don't think Phoenix had motion smoothing on. You didn't, right?
I don't even know. I just play. I'm gonna plug in anyway.
It wasn't on when we were playing Mario Party, because I would have noticed. Turn on game mode. Please just...
And test it, just so you can see the difference.
Dude, it's the Switch... outputs at 1080p at the highest. Just put on game mode. Please, for your boy.
Now I think about it. I did try game mode. And it was yesterday, Obi, when I was facing the guy, the level 76 guy.
King?
Yeah.
Oh no, Galgear?
Yeah, him. And my TV, not the TV, not the PC monitor. It started frizzling, like it started like doing so.
I remember you saying something like that.
Yeah, and I think that's what Bruce is talking about, because that's what was happening to me. I was like, what the? And I actually had to like switch it back, take it off of game mode, because it was doing like
weird.
What Bruce is exactly saying. That's what was happening to me.
That's weird because with most TVs, motion smoothing is always default off if you turn on game mode.
Yeah, that's so. Weird. I'll have to look. Maybe there is a separate option, but we will get back to our conversation of Xenoblade to finish it off.
All right, that's what we were talking about.
Exactly. Anything else before going into our what's gonna happen in the future? Hint, future. Future connected. Oh, we need to talk about that too. Well, it'll.
That, Bruce?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
But I saw the cutscenes, so we are good.
So I
Well,
do
so
want to
we know
say,
about the rift
yeah.
at the end.
So
Yeah, which is like it's like actually just straight up leading into 3.
And
and that's what was cool. Go ahead, Obi. Sorry.
sorry, I just want to make a quick comment, like since we're before we jump into this, because it relates to 2. Like at the end of 2, I hadn't noticed the first time, but when you're coming down from the world tree on Azurda, he mentioned something about we're going through the rift, and
Oh
then
yeah.
you see the new land.
Oh,
So you know,
oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, so now they're in the world that Shulk created at the end of at the end of
possibly
1. Yeah,
it
that's
was
what I was
vague.
guessing.
And that's
Because
what
that's
that's
totally what I was
true.
guessing when I did finish 2, is that yeah, they have to be in the world that Shulk created. So yeah, that totally makes sense. So now Xenoblade 3 is going to take place in that world, probably far into the future. But
I hope
uh
not.
Yeah, I'm not. It has to be far into the future because what we've seen from the trailers, like, how's that gonna happen? Like 5 or 6 years from the current ending of both games. Like,
Yeah.
that
yep,
has to be
yeah.
like at least 100 or more years. Like all our
Yeah.
party members except the characters that were like high end hour, those other races that last longer, they're all probably dead.
Man, I'm so
Mhm.
ready for this, and I do want to say, like, actually, that is both of those are good, but let me tell you why y'all wrong. So, no, I'm just
Okay.
Okay.
kidding. So
That's 2 now.
that's two, that's twice. So yeah, the whole reef thing is interesting because, again, like kind of going to the perspective of the playthrough that I did, it was that it ends with futures connected so far, and we have that rift scenario. And when Obi started saying that, I was like, that makes sense now, because if the next one really is 3, that rift was the key to futures connected, like the literal definition, futures connected. um and I think that's where it's I said this in the messages, and I think Bruce was like against it because he doesn't want it to be like a takeaway from the main story. But I do want to say that I really do think that Shok and Rex will appear in some form. And if it happens, I swear to y'all, I'm not looking at anything. I
It's
just
gonna be in a side quest. Amelia is gonna mention his name.
if it's a side
It's
quest, I'm
gonna.
gonna be kind of sad because I'm really cheering for that, man. Imagine like the main character, and I haven't really seen their names besides the picture you showed us, Op. Um,
Noah.
so imagine Noah get needing advice or something, and you're scavenging or something, and here comes Rex, and he and I don't mean like they have to be in your party or anything. Maybe for a mission or two, they're helping you, but Rex kind of just being like, "Yo, this is what happened in my stuff. Like, you can't give up. Like, you need to connect this shit and get out." No, just kidding. But
I don't know. It's like I don't think that's like they have said in the interviews, and just because you know that that's not the way that they make games, they want like first time players to feel like, oh, I have to play 1, 2, and then 3. You know, like yeah, that's the ideal way to do it.
oh,
But they
okay.
also don't want to be like gatekeeping. Like if you want to play this game, like you should just play it because it's a
Yeah.
fun game.
Well,
So yeah,
Yeah.
and that's why I personally say where it's like they wouldn't be like a back in my day. They could be kind of like a sort of flashback, like Adam type of stuff, where it's like filling you in at the same time their stories, but also giving you, because it would also be an opportunity for people to be like, I want to know about more about that character, let me check out his game. So I do think, like, I don't know, for me, I just keep having this feeling of like we're definitely gonna see them, or some shape or form. I mean, the
I think
Aegis
we
is
are.
never ending, right? Like, never aging.
But the thing is that ended at the end of 2 when the conduit disappeared.
Oh, well, we don't know
The,
where the conduit went, right? Or did it
no,
completely disappear?
at the end of 2 it just disappeared. But
Oh, okay. But like, we don't
this
know
is
if it's
kind of like
destroyed or something.
no, this is kind of going into like spoilers for the Xeno Saga and Xenogear games, because apparently like I mean those are not directly connected to Xenoblade, but they have some of the same ideas. So the conduit that they called, I think they called it the Sohar in those games. Like it's something that they discovered in like Africa, and it has the same shape that you see in Xenoblade 2. Apparently, like whenever that goes away, it reappears in another part of the universe. So I have to look it up, but just keep that idea in mind because I think maybe it'll show up in another form in 3, or maybe they
Yeah.
just don't do anything else with it, and that's the end of the Claw saga.
Yeah, and I do want to ask you that. Do you guys think that we're gonna get a form of claws?
I mean, no, I don't think
Yeah,
so. Maybe
I don't think so.
No.
like a flashback, or maybe like a remnant, like what he did at the end of 2, where he said, "This is my last gift to you."
Well, we had the
Yep.
good and the bad, right?
Well, the bad one's gone for good,
And the
well,
good
Yeah,
one,
he got murked.
they're all gone.
and the good one's gone too, right?
Yeah. So he's done.
What about the nobody? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my god.
The
Don't you dare.
connection. And then okay, so Goose, you're playing Xenoblade 3, and then all of a sudden it says you get help from the most powerful hero in the universe, and you do the mission, you grab it, and
If
it's
you say Terra, if you say
Terra, it's Terra. You already know.
You son of a bitch!
Why do you know what I'm gonna say?
Because I can read you like a book, dude. It's either gonna be yeah, exactly. I had a vision. I had a vision of a bad future where you mentioned Terra in my presence.
No, but
I'm guessing that's something to do with Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, it's a character that I am not a fan of, and it's Eddie's favorite character.
Yeah, he's my favorite. Not like Adam in the sense of leadership, but anyway, we can talk about that later. But yeah, I'm excited. Like I've been telling you guys about this, and it's been a while since I've been hyped for a game. Like I may not sound because I'm a little tired after work, especially, but I am very hyped for this. Like, and I'm gonna take my time. And like I said, because the only reason I kind of rushed through everything because it was to get to this exact point. It was destiny. Tonight is the day we fell a gun. I don't want to.
I mean, yeah, you couldn't have. You couldn't have timed it better. I mean, you beat Future Connected a day before the game comes out. So
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is a lot of information. Like that's what I guess like especially also that I've been kind of forgetting things. So like the good and the bad, like the good, yeah, I finished all of them, so I know like it's still sort of fresh, but that is the problem, that it's fresh. So there are a lot of things that I'm also forgetting. That like when it was Cole, I think that they said his name right, and it didn't click right away until I was like, where did I meet him before? And then I looked, and it was
Cole.
Yeah, it was the guy with the guns.
Shooter.
Yeah, and that's the kind of stuff that I'm like, oh, okay, that's the kind of bad thing about rushing through it, because like it didn't stick with me, and then of course skipping a lot
Cole
of
had
bubbles.
Guns?
Yeah,
Cole had guns?
It was if that's not his name, it's the guy with the guns that did the plays in Xenoblade 2, but it turned out to be the Blade Eater that helped Adam with the guns.
Flesh Eater.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about Torna, okay. Like back then.
Yeah,
okay,
back then. Yeah, he used the guns. So
originally named Minoth.
Yeah, him. And I didn't catch that at first because Mithra did say, "Good to see you again, Minoth." And then I was like, "Why did she say it like that?" Like I'm sure I probably heard that name before. And then I remember looking it up in stream, and I was like telling my girl, "Oh, it's the guy with the guns! Like that's so cool." And that part was cool too. I like that sort of continuity. But talking about the 3, what do you guys? I mean, let's hear it. I know Obi was trying to get to this part. Let's hear it.
Did we really say much about Future Connected though? Because I want to say I really like that.
Go ahead.
Character redemption they did for what was her name? Lorothea? I can't remember.
Tyrea.
Yep.
Yeah. No, they made her really great. Like they do have in Phoenix. You're not going to know about this, but there actually is a side quest in the first game where you find Tyrea, and then that's whenever you find out. Oh God, wait, what do you find out? That Tyrea isn't it like that? She's also half
sister
Homs or some shit.
Oh, I think I did that side quest, but I wasn't. I don't remember all the text. There was a lot of text for too many side quests.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what you find out. Hold on, wait. Wait, I'm rocking the wiki real quick.
The little kid's also in the first game, right?
Elon, yeah, in
Elon?
which you actually a bunch of side quests you do with him are side quests after the huge where all the high Entia turn into Telethia. All
Oh.
the side quests you do with him are trying to find a way,
Is
you
he
have
the
to like
one
go
in
through Alchemoth, and yeah, you
Magma
have to.
Forest?
I think he's in Aerith Sea, I think. And he's like all of his quests are like go into Alchemoth, try to find we're gonna try to find a way to turn Telethia back into High Antia. So it's really cool that that carried over into Future Connected.
I remember Tyria. Yeah, she was pretty cool. I just remember the mask at the villain part because that's what I said on the stream too. I was like, that was
Yeah.
her. I just
With
remember
her
the
like
mask.
her super compressed audio during that part.
I really liked it. Like she looked so pretty, and her voice acting was really, really good.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Super
And then when
compressed
she
audio.
finally like, she's like Empress Melia at the end, and then they walk together, and I'm like, oh my god, this is perfect.
Yeah.
Emotional.
So I was right. The side quest, Melancholy Tyrea, you find her like collapsed, and the reason why she didn't turn is because she's also part Homs, which is like her whole character thing is that she hates Melia because she's not of a purebred,
Oh
because
wow, that's ironic.
yeah, right. That's like the like whoa hey, but she still has the lung wings. But either way, yeah. So that kind of like that was cool enough in the main game of like, oh, okay, we get like one last moment with her where we find out a bit more about her. But the way they implemented her into Future Connected was like actually great, and like redeeming her was super super cool. So yeah, Future Connected gets major points for that. I also want to say that I really like Nene and Kino as
Oh
well.
yes.
Yeah.
They're having like actually having some of Dunban or not Dunban. Wow, because it's because is Dunban's data pun. Now having some of Ricky's kids there, and the fact that like one they're actually Ricky's kids, but also they have all of Ryan and Charla's moves, but they're all named like slightly different. Like instead of Wild Down, Nene has Mild Down. It's just stuff like that just tickles me, just like the perfect way. I love it. So they were actually really good characters.
I didn't really use Kino. I stuck with Nene and Cholka Melia. Because I felt like Kino was always dying when I used him, and he wouldn't really heal. And I think
Yep.
Nene has a healing skill, and if not, it's probably the puns. What's it called? Pun specters. They heal you, so
Yeah, them and it's the Pond Specters, and then also Melia has Summon Aqua that
yeah.
helps. So yeah, you don't really need to use Kino at all. But still, I like his character, especially if I don't know Phoenix. I don't know if you did all the heart to hearts in
No.
Future Connected,
No.
but there's some really good ones where you talk to Nene and you find out that Kino is like they Kino is not blood related to Ricky.
Oh, I did
Oh
that
yeah.
one. I did that
Okay.
one.
Okay.
Where
That
he
one's really
says
good.
he explains that, he's basically he was, I don't know if he was lost or something,
Uh,
but the point was that the hero pawn just took him into his home without like questions, like he just
Mhm.
took him in and took care of him, and he wanted to be like him because that's a really good deed, and I think that was cool. Like, and again, that goes back to what we were talking about in terms of the emotions. Like, even that little aspect, that's like it gives you those mentality good points about those characters. Like, damn, Hero Pawn's really good, a really good person. Like,
That's why Ricky is the best
yeah,
boy.
he has a good heart. But yeah, I definitely remember that, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, and that even like Shulk has that moment too, where he's like, "Wow, like Nene is like 8 years old, but she's already acting like an adult. Damn."
I like the
So,
reactions between Nene and Kino, where they're literally like brother and sisters.
yeah.
And especially that part where Kino wants to basically put, I think it was
Tranquilizer
tranquilize, tranquilize, yeah. And then like,
on
Nene
Melia.
just slaps him. Like, he was
Yeah.
like, yeah, she wants to go to sleep. Like, here you go. Damn, dude.
Speaking of a slap, there's like this one scene in Xenoblade 2 where like Rex is having a serious conversation, and then Toras gets in front of him and just starts dancing, and he slaps him away. Do you remember that?
Oh, where was that?
For which
Why
one?
do I not remember that?
Where Rex slaps Tora away while he's dancing in front of him. Let me look it up. Hold on.
He slaps
Yeah, I gotta.
Tora away.
Yeah, Tora.
I gotta see this.
Tora.
Oh, was that a cutscene or was that a?
It was like a cutscene.
Oh yeah,
too.
yeah, right. Okay, no, I do remember this. Yeah, Rex is just like, get the hell out of the way.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, this was early on.
He was dancing, and I just goes. I'm looking at it right now.
I want to.
There's a in black.
I want to do the exact same thing to Tora. It's just get the hell out of the way.
I like that. Yeah, it's some type of humor. I like the humor that's in Xenoblade. I know sometimes it can be cheesy, but
something I do want to say too, even though like I may not be as like I may not like the main party of Xenoblade 2 as much, even though I still like each character like fine, but they don't have nearly a special place in my heart as the whole party of the first game. But something I'll give major credit to Xenoblade 2 for is having a unique quest for every rare blade that's fully voice acted. Because some of them are really, really good too. There's even ones where you like to actually get a specific blade, you have to do a quest. I'm sure you remember the one where you kind of have to help out the one lady blade in Gormat get groceries, and then that turns into that one. It turns into like a whole thing with the person that she's bonded to. And then at the very end, without saying much, at the end of the quest, you get her core crystal. So you can imagine what happens. but either way, just like stuff like that, I just think is really cool. Like they went out of the way to make sure that every rare blade actually has like a moment in the spotlight, because that's like one complaint I had at first before I like figured out that every blade has and like this is I swear, I promise I'm not going to go into a huge tangent about it, but the biggest problem I had with Xenoblade X is that because all of the party members that you get, except for the main three, are completely optional and they have their own side parts. That means that none of those characters are guaranteed to show up in the main plot at all. So none of them have a major significance with the main plot, which I was like, that's dumb. When like if you ask me personally, I think every character, every party member in Xenoblade 1 has a reason to be fighting the final boss. So, whether like Charlotte, it's about like avenging Gato. Ryan is his job is to always protect Shulk. That kind of thing. But with Xenoblade X especially, and then like the blades in Xenoblade 2, I was like, it sucks that they can't come in and like be part of the main plot. But the fact that they each in Xenoblade 2, every blade has their own like unique quest and they have their own spotlight with fully voice acted cutscenes and everything, kind of makes up for that, and I think it's pretty cool. So there you go, tangent over.
Yeah, and also to let like Phoenix know a bit, like Xenoblade X is more focused on like the exploration aspect and the side quests, so it's not really a game for everybody. I personally enjoyed it, and maybe you'll enjoy it, but for the main story, it's kind of like a spin-off type of thing, so you don't really have to play it. You can, if you don't get a Wii U, you could probably find other means to play it, especially on that gaming computer.
I'll get it right now and I'll beat it before tomorrow. So
there you go. Yeah,
that'll be impossible to do with this one because you have to do the side quest.
And then at 5 in the
they force you to.
At 5 in the morning, guys, I did it.
I did it. I put like 100 hours in that game and I didn't finish the main quest.
Dang.
That's how bad it is. Not the game, but that's how bad that's how bad it is. Of like you were forced to do side content in the game.
Jesus.
Yeah.
But going into finishing up the 3 in the podcast, what do you guys want to talk about the most in terms of Xenoblade 3, or what do you want to see?
I mean, I just want a good story, good time with the characters, good gameplay, and good music. And from what I've seen so far, it looks like it's hitting all of those check marks.
Yeah. I'm excited for these new characters because all their designs look great, and like I haven't watched anything besides that first trailer, so I'm kind of gonna be completely blind and learning about these new characters, which I think Nintendo today put out trailers for like each individual character.
Oh wow. I
Which
haven't
is
seen them. I don't
interesting.
want to see them.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna watch them either. But uh, like I from the few things that I did hear from that direct they did is that like it seems like they're gonna kind of have like a Final Fantasy job system, in that like one character doesn't have to be tied to like a specific role. So like this character that would normally be a tank, you can actually
Oh yeah,
yeah, you can
there's
change them
classes.
from a yeah, you can change them from a tank to something else if you want. And you have like full freedom with that. And
Yeah,
that's what made Final Fantasy 5 like fantastic. So seeing like a class slash job system like that where you have full control over your party. It's the same with Final Fantasy 7 with the materia system, because like people have stats that are good, but you can decide with materia what moves you want them to have and how you want them to play. So I'm really excited for the amount of freedom, both in the overworld and also in the gameplay that Xenoblade 3 is going to have. It seems like no person or no two people are going to have the same kind of playthrough, and
yeah, it's
that to me
extremely
is really exciting.
customizable.
Mhm.
From what they
So
showed, you can customize so much, and you can like arts that you get in one class, if you learn them with like Noah, for example, like the healing arts, you can learn them, and then when you switch to the other class, you can mix and match arts from multiple classes. It's
Wow.
mhm.
extremely customized.
Yep.
Damn. Oh man, that means
So
more stuff, more buttons.
yeah, more
It's the
learning.
No,
same
but
same
well,
amount of buttons.
but I will say like that will be the difference, because again, the overwhelming factor was like I had a deadline that I wanted to meet. Of course, I did tell myself, well, if I don't get to it, I could always just play it later. But I really want to, being part of the launch hype is so freaking missed. Like I love it. Like the only thing I would love to see back in the day, like in that was back in the day, but I would want it now, was that I would want to go to a GameStop at midnight, meeting up people, being
Oh
hyped,
yeah.
talking about, Xenoblade with other people, like, hey, why do you like Torah, and this is why you're wrong, and
Dude, I haven't done that. I haven't done that since the Switch came out. I remember
yeah,
waiting in line at
it's
Best
been a
Buy to
while.
get the
Yep.
Switch.
Yep.
And so yeah, that
The
would be one thing. But I do have a question for you, like, because the cover art for the games. So Xenoblade One, it's the Mechonis Bionis, right? I forgot the actual
The
name.
Mechonis
The
looking
Mechonis.
over.
honest with the
Yeah.
Monado sitting on the grass.
And then there's Xenoblade Two, which is again Rex and
The
Pyra.
Orion Titan.
Why is it the Orion Titan?
There's nothing specific about it. It's just one of the first Titans that you see in the game, I guess. So they just put that as the artwork.
Oh.
Yeah, they wanted it to just show like, hey, look, this is the both of the concept or both of the box arts kind of just match like the what you're going to be doing in the game. So like Xenoblade 1, you see this gigantic Titan thing, and it's like, hey, yeah, so like there's two big dudes, and you're going to go from one to the other. Whereas with Xenoblade 2's box art, it's like, okay, there's a big Titan, and these are the things that they're like living and breathing, that you're going to be walking on them, and you're going to be going from like multiple ones. So I think that's the point of the box art, at least for 1 and 2.
Got it. Yeah,
And
because
then
I was just wondering. Hmm.
Mhm.
three, it's that Titan from two's box art, and it looks like it's cut in half with the Mechonis sword.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's what I'm interested in. I'm like, what happened there? But man, we will get all our answers. And I think that game comes out
Mm.
today at 11 p.m.
Yeah, so if
Yeah,
you get the
tonight.
digital copy, you can play it tonight.
Mhm. I will
Really?
say what I was gonna say about the box art of 3. I think there's not too much there in terms of like this is gonna be what the story is about. I think it's more just saying that these are the first game and the second game
Yeah.
coming together, so that they have what was representative of each game on their original box art together on the box art for this game, because this is the one that's gonna bring both games together in story.
But also, from the gameplay I've seen of 3 on the trailers and the Nintendo Direct, the Mechonis sword does show in the background, like hitting the
Mm.
ground, like it's planted there. And it looks like it may be a location that you could visit, maybe endgame, I don't know. But
Right.
you
Yeah.
see that in the overworld.
They also they posted that it's probably just like a promotional picture to be cool, but they did post the picture of the Monado and Pyra's sword
That
and
picture.
Noah's sword all
Is that
together.
one
Yeah.
real?
Yeah, that's for the DLC though. So I'm assuming that just means that they're
Oh.
going to add kind of like how they did in 2 challenge mode, where you could get the blades for Shulk, Fiora, and
Mhm.
what was her name?
And
Elma from X.
Elmo.
Wait, so that picture is real and it's for the DLC for Xenoblade 3?
I didn't
Yes.
know that. I didn't know it was for the DLC. Okay, then yeah, I am definitely on the same boat as you, Obi, that's probably what's gonna happen. It's gonna be like challenge mode. It's be
That
like, hey,
is
it's me, and I was like, yo, I get to have Shulk and Fiora. This is awesome. And then I went in there, and it's like, you can't get these until you beat the game. And I was like, all right, bye.
Oh, snap, the expansion. Oh, that is sick. The Monado. Yeah, that is the picture I was talking about. That's what I was talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah, it's the Monado, and it's the one from Futures Connected, and then it's the sword from the 3, and then it's Pyra sword.
Yeah.
That is crazy. That looks cool. I thought it was fake, but that's why I was asking about it in stream.
No, that's real.
Oh, that is
Mhm.
crazy. But
So
all
that'd be
right.
cool.
Well, then, other than that, anybody have any final comments?
No, I'm good for the podcast now. We did a pretty long one. That was necessary though. It's been a while.
It has been.
Yeah, I think I'd just say, like, you know, it's kind of hard for me to say like the whole series is really special to me. Um, Whereas I just really love the first game, and I thought that the second game was pretty damn good. Um, but that all that being said, though, I am very excited for 3. Because it's just like above all, like above just like being attached to the first and the second game, it just looks like a really good game. And it
Yeah.
looks like Monolith really took their time with it, and they didn't have like a fractured development staff that was also working on Breath of the Wild and other stuff. So uh, yeah, I'm really excited. I'm mostly excited because it looks like there's going to be no gotcha elements here. So shout outs to that. Very excited about no gotcha. Thank you. Thank you, Monolith.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to have the best parts of 1 and 2 from what I've seen, and especially that
Mhm.
Nintendo Direct that showed a lot of the gameplay elements, like the cooking from Torna. That's going to be in, and I thought that was pretty cool.
I haven't
Yeah,
even
it's
cooked.
just I haven't even made dinner. God, we gotta end the podcast.
No, I was talking about Torna. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing.
I didn't even play it, and I knew that.
What the heck?
And the
But yeah.
campfire.
Mhm.
You could
Oh
cook in the
yeah.
campfire.
Oh that. Oh okay. I thought you were talking about like something specific. For some reason I thought like you could actually like cut and slice
No.
onions. Like I was like,
Cooking
oh
Mama.
yeah, exactly.
Cooking
That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh,
Cooking
I guess
Mithra!
I missed
Yo!
it. Yeah.
Yo,
I was like,
cooking
okay.
Mithra. Let's go.
Exactly.
Or just cooking Pyra if you want to do it in the main game.
But all right, well then that does it. Xenoblade fans, thank you guys so much for listening, and all fans, and yeah, to finally be here on this day, and we will see you there. And of course, I will be streaming Xenoblade 3. I may start streaming it if you know by 11 p.m. tonight. But if not, I'll definitely start after work tomorrow. And then of course, please enjoy it. But with that said, we are
Twitch.tv/FirePhoenixKing live. Be sure to be there.
That's right. And then of course
Your job for you.
you have to put yours too.
But I'm not going to be streaming it.
Oh. But
I'm gonna be in fully immersed mode for that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Alrighty, but other than that, that is pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you guys next time. Bye bye.
Bye everyone. Thanks for
Bye,
listening.
everybody. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for coming in.